It's a fantastic Thursday afternoon where we're seated here in the studio. Very good afternoon to you. My name is Olive Emodi, and this is Hello Nigeria. Now, today on the show, we're going to be looking at some very interesting details. Public service announcement. The President Muhammadu Buhari, has declared June 12th the official Democracy Day. Afenifere has condemned this move, has approved this mood, I beg your pardon. However, PDP has condemned it, saying it's an action that smacks of desperation. What do you think about this? We'll be looking at the details of the story when Ezeugo Chukwudi joins us on the show to look at the details. Now, away from that, we'll also be connecting via Skype to our Abuja studio to find out the update on the anti-open grazing law. Now, away from that as well, we'll be having two guests in the studio. One of them is John Obidi. John will be coming to speak to us about emotional intelligence, looking at the fact that this week is Emotional Intelligence Week. Why do you need emotional intelligence? Is it important in discharging your duties, in business, in relationships? These and more we'll be looking at when we speak with John Obidi. Now, our celebrity guest for today is Frank Donga. Recently dropped a song titled "This Table You're Shaking." One of the things that have made a lot of noise on the internet is table shaking celebrities. So we'll be looking at Frank Donga, his new music video, the audio, what he's been up to, and why he's often referred to as an unemployed youth on social media. My name is Olive Emodi. Thank you once again. When we'll come back from the break, the show starts in full swing. And of course, Leila Johnson Salami and I will be here to captain the ship. Please don't go away.
Hello, this is the Hello Nigeria show. Hello Nigeria show. Don't you dare touch the dial. Hello Nigeria. Hello Nigeria, sure. Don't you dare touch the dial. Don't you dare touch the dial. 'Cause it's Hello Nigeria. Hello Nigeria.
I'm swimming against the current, swimming against the current. I think I need you. I need you. Trying so hard to finish, trying so hard to finish strong, but I need you. I need you. I'm trying to make sense of it, trying to make sense of it all, but I can't, and that's the truth. How? 'Cause you're all I've ever needed, you're all I've ever needed, but I don't know the truth. Oh, you are my star. You show me the way back to you. You are my sun. You brighten my gray and make my sky blue. You are the light in my dark. Without you, my world would be so empty. Empty. You fill the space in my heart. Please don't leave me feeling so empty. Empty. Yeah.
Empty by Cobham Zasuko leaves you feeling some type of way, but definitely today's show is not going to be empty. We have it really full and packed with John Obidi coming to talk to us about emotional intelligence, and Frank Donga, an award-winning comedian, coming to share his journey from journalism to entertainment. Hello, Leila.
Hey, Olive. You know what? I love your outfit today.
Thank
It really, really suits you. And this hairstyle. This hairstyle is everything.
It's a look.
It's a look.
All right, so shout out to Baby, Jasmine Beauty World, our hairstylist, who kind of makes us look good every time we have to come on TV.
Absolutely.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Great start to the morning. And at least Lagos, it's not raining today. So, you know, that was a good start for me. What about you?
Yeah, it's been a good day so far. I didn't find it difficult to wake up early today. I was able to wake up, go make my hair and have my makeup done. I'm pretty much excited about the day and about the quality of guests that we have coming today.
Honestly, me too.
Now, one of the things that workers often forget to take is holidays and leaves. People often try to monetize their leave. Now, Leila, if you'd be given the opportunity to either take your leave or take the monetary value, which would you take?
Oh, you know what? It depends. If I was going to take leave, I'd only take leave if I knew that I was going to be actually resting during my leave, maybe taking a break somewhere away from Nigeria for a bit. Otherwise, I think I might choose the monetary value. But at the same time, that being said, I'm a huge advocate for sabbaticals. But what about you?
I will take my leave. I would say that taking leave cannot be the importance of taking leave cannot be overestimated.
True.
However, if I'm being honest, I've been very guilty of taking leave to go and do work.
Yeah.
So if I needed to be on a movie set, for example, I'd probably take leave and go do my movies or just leave work to go do work. But that is not how it should be. You should always take leave. You should take rest. Your body is not a machine. Your body needs time to recover. So today we have a video encouraging you, if you've not taken a leave, the people who have been working, Leila, for 3 years and have never taken leave.
It's unhealthy. That's the honest truth. If you don't take leave, if you don't take a break, it is unhealthy. So check out this video of sabbaticals and let us know what you think. You can tweet at us or you can find us on Instagram at Wazobia Max. But afterwards, of course, Olive and I are still going to be talking about this.
If you're feeling burnt out or overwhelmed at work, it might be time to take a break. Studies show that workers who take an extended leave from their job return rejuvenated and more productive. Here are some ways taking a sabbatical can save you and your career. First, find out if your company allows extended breaks. Either way, you will likely need to pitch the idea to your boss. Create a plan and outline how learning a new skill or even traveling the world can benefit the company when you return. If you think about work nonstop, the mental break from taking a sabbatical can help you make space for new projects. Traveling can expose you to other cultures and different ways of thinking. Taking a class, pursuing a hobby, or even writing a book can stimulate your creativity and open you up to new ideas. If you are desk-bound at your current job, a sabbatical might help you reinvigorate your body as well as your mind. Establish regular exercise routines and sleep schedules to improve your health. Better health means taking less sick time when you return to work and more productivity.
And this is something we cannot overemphasize. Oftentimes unfortunately, we live in a country, or if you look at Lagos, for example, people have to wake up early in the morning at 4:30. For those living on the mainland and working on the island, you have to get to work, spend hours at work. It ought to be a 9 to 5, but people do like 8 to 9 p.m. There's so much that people get to do because they're trying to make ends meet. But we need to emphasize the importance of allowing your body rest.
Honestly, we cannot overemphasize that enough. It's so important for everybody to take a break, everybody to, just go back to yourself for a bit. We put so much energy into work. And like you said, especially in a city like Lagos, where a lot of people are up so early in the morning and home so late at night.
How do you know you're stressed at work? Now, for me, I realize that my creativity starts to reduce. I realize that I start to snap at little things. So thankfully, we're speaking about emotional intelligence today. I think that's one very important factor we need to take into consideration. But I realize that my creativity is low, my zeal and zest for work. I'm usually a very driven person, but the moment I find that I'm starting to lose zeal and excitement to go to work, then I realize that it's time to take a break. And unfortunately, you might not be able to take the leave at once. It's in little bits. If you can't take it at once, then take it in little bits. So for example, this weekend, Leila is planning to kidnap me to the beach for a whole day off at the beach to just really relax. So these are ways in which you can incorporate rest. It might not be like outright 1 week or 2 weeks leave, but over the weekend, turn off your phone, hang out with friends, and just really let your head down and breathe.
Honestly, and another thing as well that I think is so important is somebody once said to me that in a city like Lagos that's so cosmopolitan, everything's a hustle and bustle, try and take 10 minutes of your day to meditate every day. So I started meditating in the mornings. As soon as I wake up, I'm like, you know what? Normally I'd wake up, go to my phone, check my messages, everything like that. I said, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes before I do anything else. And I'm challenging you to do the same. Trust me, Olive, it works.
Very true. Now, for those who are very spiritual and faith-based, that's the opportunity for you to actually wake up for the first hour of your day. Do not touch your phone. I was reading a book, and I'm trying to remember the name of the book. I think it's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I'm not quite sure. And then the author was saying one of the habits he had to learn was for the first hour of his day, he absolutely stayed away from social media, stayed away from his phone, and just used that 1 hour to relax, reflect. So it boils down to what you've said, meditation. It's some sort of relaxation. So for those who do yoga, yoga is their outlet. And don't say you are relaxing, you're turning up with the boys and you're stuffing yourself with alcohol. That's not relaxing. So this weekend, as we're preparing to get into the weekend, we're challenging you to rest. Really, truly, intentionally rest. Turn off your phone and anything that will cause a distraction and just relax. Rest. All right, we'll be resting for a few seconds on the break. When we come back, Leila and I will be looking at what's trending in the news. Are you excited about the holiday on the 12th of June? Does this mean we have another holiday on the 12th of June? Maybe we should call the president and ask him some very pertinent questions right after this break.
It's a scent Nigeria. That means hello Nigeria in Tree.
Hi, my name's Amanda Potelwa. I'm from South Africa.
Hello, my name is Mimi Akinkube.
Hello, my name is Candace Nkotbisek. I'm from Cameroon.
My name is Ido Inanang.
My name is Efwa Osei.
And the most interesting thing I found about Nigeria is the extraordinary hustling energy.
And make sure you keep watching
Hello, Nigeria.
We do it all for you. We do it all for you. Oh.
Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. Unfortunately, we do not have Ezugu Chukwudi joining us today on Trending Stories, but best believe, be rest assured that he's coming back again tomorrow with a bang. Now, today on the show, we're looking at some very important stories. Breaking news. Will there be a public holiday on the 12th day of June?
I think so. Food for thought.
President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday directed that the nation's Democracy Day will henceforth hold on the 12th day of June every year, as against the current arrangement where the ceremony holds on the 29th day of May. He also resolved to honor the winner of the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election, Chief Moshood Abiola, with the highest honor, the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic. The president disclosed this in a statement he personally signed and made available to journalists. He said he reached the decisions after due consultations. Apart from Abiola, Buhari said he would also honor his running mate, Alhaji Babagana Kingibe, and the late human rights activist Chief Gani Fawemi with the second highest national honor, the Grand Commander of the Niger. Now, there have been mixed reactions trailing this decision. Some people in support, some against. Of course, the PDP has criticized it, saying it is some sort of publicity stunt with regards to the fact that we're preparing towards 2019 elections. Afenifere has also said this is something that they've pushed for the past 20 years, and finally it's happening. However, they've urged Nigerians to take this with a pinch of salt, stating that we don't know what the motive of the government would be for doing this now, and that we'll get to find out what the government is planning from January 2019, or preferably from the elections in July in Ekiti.
Absolutely. When it comes to the Nigerian polity, it's often so difficult for us to actually place a finger on what we might believe to be true, because it's hard to judge people's motives, right? But at the same time, the fact that too many people have wanted this for the past 20 years. Yes, it happened under the Buhari administration. Yes, there's a lot that people have to say, but fact is, it's happened. So that's something for us to celebrate.
And they say that actually June 12 was more symbolic of democracy than May 29, or even the 1st of October. That is the argument that has been put forward by some people. Now, the question that comes to mind of Lagos employees would be that before we used to have 2 holidays, the 29th day of May and the 12th day of June in Lagos State for one. However, this now means that it's just going to be one holiday, no more 29th day of May. But are we going to have a holiday this year? I guess we'll keep our fingers crossed and find out what the outcome of that is. But let us know if you're excited about this development or you think it's something that the president should not have done. Let us know on Twitter at Wazobia Max with the hashtag Hello Nigeria, or you can tweet at Leila at LGS Online and Twitter yours truly at Olive Emodi. Are you excited about the June 12th Democracy Day declaration? Let us know.
Let's move on to another story because there's more good news, especially for women and mothers out there. The federal government has finally increased maternity leave from 12 weeks to 16 weeks. So yes, there is now a 4-month maternity leave, and the government also advised women to seek legal action against discrimination and abuses within the workplace. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, said that this was addressed at a plenary session at the ongoing 107th International Labour Conference in Geneva, Switzerland, that's currently holding now. And the theme for the conference is a future with decent work. And Ngige had noted that in public service, Nigeria recently increased the period for maternity leave from 12 weeks to 16 weeks to quote-unquote allow enough time for recuperation, both for the baby and the mother in terms of breastfeeding. I think this is a very welcoming development because maternity leave is so important. And of course, the stigmatization of mothers today, especially working mothers, has led us to look at maternity leave and say, you know what, it's either we don't want to employ women because they may go off for maternity leave, or we're going to shorten the maternity leave, but that's not the case. A child has just come to life.
And we find that many people usually get scared to get into workplaces when they know they're just about getting married.
Absolutely.
Because the truth is, we have organizations that the moment you get married and they notice you're getting pregnant, you're barred from coming to work, you're fired because you're of no use to them being pregnant.
Yeah.
But however, Ngige has declared this illegal and has urged organizations not to fire people due to their marital status or their pregnancy. He says actions like illegal labor migration, contract staffing, and labor casualization, which affects most women, are being reformed through policies and regulations at national, bilateral, and multilateral levels. According to him, the most effective method of eliminating gender inequality from the workplace lies in vigorous opposition to employers' discriminatory conducts, policies, and harassments in all forms whenever they occur.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, this is something really, really welcome. I would say that I remember once going to a multinational and I saw the way they made work so convenient for mothers, such that there was a staff that they said every time she went on maternity leave, came back pregnant. But the thing is, it doesn't affect the quality of work you're delivering. Knowing that some people can work from home. And we also need to take into the fact that we're millennials. Exactly. How our parents worked is not how work is these days. If you can deliver staying at home, all you need is your laptop and your internet. By all means, you can have your baby stay at home and work from home.
Exactly, and this is also so good for sustainable development. We know that the United Nations is working towards us achieving 17 goals by 2030, and the 5th goal is gender equality. Now, it would be near to impossible to achieve gender equality without taking away certain discriminatory acts like lessening people's maternity leave. So the fact that Senator Chris Ngige has come forward to say that this is a new development is definitely a step in the right direction for us here in Nigeria in terms of achieving the sustainable development goals.
Very true. So congrats to mothers and would-be mothers. We also know that for Lagos, the paternity leave provides for fathers to be able to stay away from work and stay with their children for 10 days. We're looking at more states adopting policies that would enable not just mothers, but fathers to stay at home and bond with their children. Because unfortunately, we've made it look like there's this maternity leave thing. Woman, stay at home and look after your children. But the father also has a child. The father also needs to bond with the child. And if we keep talking for issues of gender inequality, these are the things that we need to bring to the forefront. Also, companies, organizations can introduce flexible methods that can help women who are nursing babies. So, for example, you're a nursing mother and you're working in a company and your company has a daycare. I think it will make perfect sense to be able to bring your baby to work. Your baby is downstairs. A certain amount, maybe from your salary, is taken monthly to look after your baby. And if your baby is crying, you know you can go downstairs and breastfeed. There's a mindset that comes with you being relaxed, knowing that your child is just a stone throw away. And if there is any issue whatsoever, you can go down and check on your child. I think that would also increase productivity for women because you know that you're not bothered about running home to look after your children.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the most important thing. At the end of the day, like you said, and you know what as well, we have to understand that people can multitask. You can be a mother and you can have a career at the same time. They're not two wholly separate concepts. It happens, it exists, and people do it and do it so well. So if we can see that happening and introduce certain laws and policies to our own community to continue to promote that and advocate for what is right, then why not, you know?
Very true indeed. So we're urging you, business owners, employers of labor, Look for creative ways to increase productivity in your workplace, taking into consideration the fact that you're working with millennials. You're not working with people back in the day who could barely do a lot of the things that we're doing now. We have technology. We have technology available to us to increase our productivity and our output. Look for ways to make your staff comfortable. In doing that, you'd increase productivity and you increase output. That is our charge and our challenge to you. And take note of the fact that you can't fire someone because of their marital status. So if you've been doing this before, henceforth is illegal. Now, moving away from that to some interesting news. Nigerian government scraps HND certificate, makes new rules for polytechnics in Nigeria. Leila, do we have the details?
Yes, we do. The decision was reached at the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday, where the approval of a comprehensive reform of Nigeria's tertiary education system was made. And in effect, the award of the HND is going to be limited only now to students currently admitted into programs. Also, the programs currently being run by polytechnics, which are not technology-based, which are about 70% of the programs, are going to be scrapped. And under the new rule, the polytechnics will now become campuses for the proximate universities, with the vice-chancellors of those universities appointing provosts for the polytechnics, subject to the ratification of the university councils.
Now, to kickstart the new policy, the nation's two most prominent polytechnics, Yaba College of Technology and Kaduna Polytechnic, will henceforth be known as City University of Technology Yaba and City University of Technology Kaduna. Now, Leila, for the longest time in Nigeria, there's been a certain level of discrimination against polytechnics and people who went to polytechnics. So you see people saying stuff like, no, I don't want my child to go to a polytechnic. I'd rather they go to a university. There's been a high level of discrimination amongst individuals, amongst corporate bodies, because you find people saying, we want BSc, we don't want HND. There are people that still want that, but there's been a wide level of discrimination. We're hoping that moves like this will bring the gap closer and closer. With education being on our concurrent list, we need to ensure that we make moves and make policies that will better education at every level, primary, secondary, tertiary level.
Exactly, and this is also particularly good for Yaba Polytechnic, or Yaba Tech as we know it, because we also know that the government is trying to turn the Yaba community into another Silicon Valley, and we're going to be seeing a lot of technological advancements in the area. So having a university that can feed off of that, in the center of that going on, is going to be so good in terms of Nigeria's education system and standards. However, the stigmatization of polytechnics is an issue. At the end of the day, the way people look at education might need to be a bit revamped. Not everybody needs to get a degree.
True.
Some people can go straight into the workplace after secondary school. Some people can go and get a diploma. We see it happening all across the world. So why do we stigmatize it here?
We need to even start exploring the creative industry. There are people who from the beginning, we already know that this person doesn't like to read book per se. But if the person were to study music or to study something with regards to fashion, you know, they always make it look like you have to go to the four walls of university for you to be respected. It's why we see that a lot of people hang their self-esteem on their certificates. It's why you see celebrities, people who have made names internationally, still feel the need to go back to the university just to get the certificate that they would never use. So we need to take away that stigma from not just polytechnics as well, universities. We need people to be able to explore other options straight from secondary school. Now, the change that has happened to polytechnics does not currently affect those who already have their HND certificate, as they'll be treated as those who already have their first degrees, and there will be no segregation or discrimination whatsoever, hopefully. So if you have a HND certificate, do not be afraid. This does not in any way affect your qualification. But that's all we have for you on Trending Stories. Remember, you can be a part of our conversation. Let us know on Twitter what you think. At Wazobia Max, use the hashtag Hello Nigeria. And you can tweet at Leila at LGS Online, or tweet at me at Olive Emodi if you have anything particular or any reaction to all the stories that we've shared. Remember that later on the show, we have John Obidi coming up to talk about emotional intelligence. And of course, Frank Donga joining us to share his story. But first of all, we're connecting to Abuja via Skype, talking about the anti-open grazing law. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that the Minister of Defense had come out to say that we should suspend the anti-open grazing law, and several governors had come out to back him. We'll be looking at the details of this story when we connect with Abuja right after this break.
It's a scent Nigeria. That means hello Nigeria in Tree.
Hi, my name's Amanda Potelwa. I'm from South Africa.
Hello, my name is Mimi Akinkubek.
Hello, my name is Candace Nkotgisek. I'm from Cameroon.
My name is Ido Inanang.
My name is Efwa Osei.
And the most interesting thing I found about Nigeria is the extraordinary hustling energy.
And make sure you keep watching
Hello, Nigeria.
We do it all for you. We do it all for you. Oh.
Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. Of course, there's more in store for you. Now we're going to connect over to our Abuja studios to discuss something that's very important to all of us right now. Now, we do know that 3 states in Nigeria, Benue, Taraba, and Ekiti states, are currently enforcing the anti-open grazing law. Now, it sparked a lot of reactions because the Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, had stated what President Muhammadu Buhari had stated on the matter, saying that states should stop and not withstand with enforcing this law for now. But the states who have already or are currently enforcing have vowed that they do not want to stop. Now, this has sparked a lot of reactions in the National Assembly, etc., and we've been hearing a lot about it. So, of course, we have to connect over to Somi in Abuja, who is seated with a great resource for us so that we can bring you all of the updates with regards to exactly what's going on. Hi, Somi. How are you doing today?
Hello, Leila. Good afternoon. I'm well, thank you.
Good afternoon. So we're speaking about the anti-open grazing law, and I understand you're seated with a guest to discuss this more extensively.
Yes, I'm here in the studio this afternoon with Barrister Tony Doko. He's a public affairs analyst, and we're going to be looking at the reactions to the calls by the Minister of Defense, Mansur Ali, to abrogate the anti-open grazing bill law, which is, as you said, has taken full effect in 3 states. Now, they're hinging this calls largely on certain things that they say about his statement. First of all, they say his statement is inaccurate. The fact that he said that the law is the one that is causing more of these conflicts to arise, because they came out and said that, especially in states like Benue, for instance, a lot of these clashes have been going on even before the law came into effect. So the law is a solution as opposed to the cause of the problem. But let's talk to our guest in the studio here, Barrister Tony Doko. So what's your take on the reactions to this call by the Minister of Defense?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say that that statement was rather very unfortunate. The statement shouldn't have come from a federal minister. Maybe he doesn't understand the way the federating system works in Nigeria. First of all, it is good for us to put it on record that this law preceded the killings. I mean, sorry, rather the killings preceded the law.
Yes.
You know, the killings have been going on. I recall in 2016 when President Buhari, during his time, after he was sworn in, I think the first serious target was Agatu massacre. You know, so many people were killed in their thousands, houses, communities burnt down, you know, and what have you. And we didn't have the law. There was no anti-open grazing law.
Of course, it only came into effect in 2017.
Yeah, so we couldn't say that there was provocation. Okay, no law provoked them. Nobody stopped them. As a matter of fact, before then, they had lived peacefully, you know, with the headsmen, the ones who, you know, resided there. Okay. Then after then, we now had more killings, you know, the Agatu is in the Doma area. Then we have more killings in the Tiv area, you know. And I think that the law is a response to the killings, because people they didn't know what to do again. Government appeared to security agencies, they were not really forthcoming, you know. The people appeared helpless. And so they decided, they had a meeting, they came together and they said, well, look, you know what, Nigeria is a country of laws, okay? Democracy is about rule of law. So let's make a law and say, look, you know what, let's ban open grazing, you know, because you're killing people in their farms and taking over, you bring your cattle, they come and take over the farms, and the people cannot complain. When they complain, what happens is that, you know, you kill them. So they had to come up with the law. That's how the bill was sent to the to the State House of Assembly as a bill, you know. And you see, it went through the normal processes, you know, because you don't send a bill and then maybe a week or two after it becomes law. No, it goes through. I think it went through for about 6 months. You know, there had to be public hearing. They invited people to come and make their contributions. If you had anything against it, it was time for you to talk about it. You know, and everybody stayed away.
Yeah.
You know, until the law was passed. So it's telling us now that the killings, okay, is as a result of the law. I think it's an admission of failure and guilt on the part of government.
All right, the Benue State House of Assembly, of course, as expected, have come out very, very aggressively to say they're not going to repeal the law and all of that. And of course, references were also made to the fact that if he came out to say that the law was the reason for the increase in the clashes, then what happened to states like Zamfara and Kaduna, where this law wasn't even in effect, and yet these killings were still ongoing. So, of course, they have come out to directly say that they're not buying into this at all. The Ekiti State Governor, Fayeshe, also weighed in heavily on this matter. And from what we're hearing, of course, the Defense Minister is to be summoned to come and answer 1 or 2 questions. So that's the general view that we're getting on this. But I want to ask you, Abia State Assembly, we're hearing, has also signed a similar bill into law. Could it be that there is a need to revisit some parts of the law? Because we're told that, yes, the law is there to protect not just the herders, not just the farmers, but the herders as well. But seeing as the law is in effect, and some of these things, a lot of these killings are still going on, do you think that there's a provision to go and sit down and review certain parts of the law? Of course, there also calls for ranching. We're even hearing that the National Economic Council has sort of bought into the idea of ranching, okay? And so what do we do to speed up these processes while all this back and forth politicking is going on? What do you think can be done so that we can actually put an end to these killings? Well,
thank you very much. You actually took the Zamfara issue from the tip of my tongue, because we don't have there are killings also going on in Zamfara, Zamfara State,
yes.
And Zamfara State does not have anti-open grazing law. Kaduna doesn't have it also too. So why are they killing people in Kaduna? So it means that this thing goes beyond what we actually think. And like I said, it was an admission of failure, because our president told President Trump in US that the killings going on in Benue State, in the Middle Belt, and some part, and then Kaduna and Zamfara State, that they're not being carried out by herdsmen, okay? And he told us what herdsmen usually carry. They carry sticks, you know, and maybe machetes, you know, and all of that to protect their cattle. And that it's not that these ones they carry guns, and that the killers are actually bandits from Libya. That's what he said. So if the killer, you can see that the position of the Minister of Defense, you know, now contradicts what the president said, okay? Because if the killers, if we need to change the law, why would we need to change our law because of bandits from Libya? So that means he's now admitting that the killers are actually the herdsmen. And maybe it's gotten out of their control. They don't know what to do. But like you said, to answer to your question, we don't have to change the law. There's nothing to change in the law, okay? In any case, just for the purpose of peace and camaraderie, if they think they have a problem with some provisions of the law, you know, you can approach the government, you know, peacefully and in a very friendly way, and then, you know, they can take it up from there, okay? However, they're not doing that. They're using force and grandstanding. And so if you have any problem, you see, when democracy epitomizes the rule of law, if you have problem with any provision there, the right thing to do is to appeal. You make an appeal to the court. You appeal the law, you know, because if the court will look at it, and if they find out that actually some of the provisions, okay, are not supposed to be there, they'll set it aside. That's the normal thing to do, you know. So you don't stay in Abuja and talk down on the state and say that they need to change the law. You don't do that. It is the right of the government, you know, to make laws also for the welfare and good governance, you know, of its people. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the word grandstanding, and of course, I would say also a lot of posturing. If you look at what happened when he went to the United States of America, well, there's always room for improvement. I think, like you said, they can always appeal certain aspects of it, as opposed to calling for the complete setting aside of the law. And interestingly, this is not the first time the Minister of Defense, Mansour Ali, has come out to take this position. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, at one time, after the Federal Executive Council meeting, you know, he was one of the people who spoke on behalf of government. Yes. That was the first time he said it, and no one called him to order. You know, it appeared as if he was a position of government. You know, government was comfortable with it. So I think it's bad. I don't know why government will be allowing you know, people to be assuming, as you were just assuming that they are misrepresenting the government. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Idoko. That's the update from here in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Barrister Idoko, and thank you, Somi, as well, for this extensive update on exactly what's going on. Much appreciated, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You're welcome.
Okay, everyone, we are going to proceed for a quick break now, and as soon as we are back, we're going to be looking at something in particular. This week is Emotional Intelligence Week, and who better to come and discuss emotional intelligence with us than John Obidi. So as soon as we are back from the break, he'll be seated in the studio with Olive and I, and we'll hold a good discussion on exactly what you need to know with regards to emotional intelligence. Stay with us.
Hello, Nigeria. There's no better place to be, so don't you ever change that dial. What's up, everybody? It's Kabam Zasukwa, and you're watching Hello, Nigeria.
Back to Hello Nigeria. Now it's time for our top story, and we have our very first guest in the studio. This week is Emotional Intelligence Week, and to celebrate it, we're looking at emotional intelligence. What really is it? How important is it with regards to business and sustenance of relationships? And to do this with us, we have with us a personal development expert and the founder of Smart Bee Camp. His name is John Obidi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
So when we hear emotional intelligence, we start to wonder, is there really, some people just assume that it's something that is said to feed people's curiosities, you know, and just to sound really intelligent. Is there really anything as emotional intelligence?
Well, it's not really that complex. Emotional intelligence is being able to understand how people feel, understanding what motivates them, and how to get them to work cooperatively with you. So it really has 5 categories, and I'll just go into those very briefly. The first category is what we call self-awareness. And self-awareness is just being very conscious of the emotions that we feel as we feel them, right? There's also self-regulation. I mean, sometimes we have no control over the emotions that just come upon us as we feel them, but we're able to regulate how long we stay in those emotions and how quickly we transition to other things. And then we have motivation, because emotional intelligence is not just about how we relate to other people, but how we are able to relate within ourselves too. So motivation is the third category. And when you're not feeling, you don't feel like working or doing certain things, it's being able to get yourself in that positive mindset to be able to get yourself to do things. So that's self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation. Then we have empathy. That's one that relates to other people. Being able to put yourself in the shoes of another person is a very top skill in 2018, right? So being able to understand how people feel within their situations, it can help you gain the cooperation and understanding of other people. And then lastly, the S, that's the social skills, and that's basically being a team player, your interpersonal skills and getting people to work with you as a team.
So self-awareness,
self-regulation,
motivation, empathy, and
social skills. Good one.
Well, a lot actually goes into it. And the honest truth is we live in a world where it's so difficult to have just a skill, and that's enough to get you employed in the job world today. Everything is so competitive on the global market. So why are technical skills just not enough anymore today?
Yes, because, I mean, back in the day, we used to place a lot of emphasis on IQ, that's intelligence quotient. We used to place a lot of emphasis there. But we're getting to see that the most successful people are not just those who have book smarts. They're not just book smart, but they're also people smart, because no one fails alone, no one succeeds alone. We all need to gain the cooperation of people around us. So it is a very important skill that we need to have, whether you're in the business world or you work with corporations. If you work with human beings, you need to learn emotional intelligence.
All right, so now let's talk about the areas. I'll go back real quick to some of the things you said. Self-awareness. Now, I believe that for you to be able to talk about this, you must also be very emotionally intelligent yourself. How were you able personally to go on the journey of self-awareness? You're a very self-aware person from information that is gathered about you, and there are many people who do not understand themselves yet. So how do you get to that point of complete self-awareness?
Well, first of all, I read books. There's this book, The New Rules, Emotional Intelligence. I read some time ago. But also there's a way you can practice self-awareness, right? And it all starts from, is the way you practice any other skill, really. You get better at it the more you practice it. When you feel emotions, right? What is the time between when you feel that emotion and when you react on that emotion? What you do within that space strengthens you. So maybe before, when someone cuts you off in traffic, is waka. You know? Then maybe the next time you try it out, maybe the waka comes like 5 seconds later. Then maybe next time, 10 seconds later, then maybe not at all. Then maybe it's like, God bless you. You know, it happens over time, but with practice, because a lot of us are products of our conditioning. All right. Some people grew up in environments where there were certain definitive responses to certain kinds of stimuli. So relearning emotional intelligence is something that people have to give time to, but it can be learned.
And what pushed you towards understanding emotional intelligence better in that case?
Well, when I started studying personal development in 2011, I realized that the most successful people in the world were those people who were able to gain a certain degree of mastery over themselves and over their direct circumstances. And the first key to gaining mastery over your life and circumstances is in being emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent. And so I began to study the tools. When we talk about self-regulation, how is one self-regulated? How do I motivate myself when I don't feel like working without resorting to substance abuse? How do I motivate myself when I'm feeling down? How do I recast situations in a positive light? How do I reframe situations? How do I say, okay, I'm broke? What do how does that affect my self-esteem? Can I reframe that to mean, okay, it's coming, it's just, I'm just going through a little bit of a challenge here. So I began to study those things because I wanted to be a very successful person. And so in studying the lives of successful people, these were the skills I identified in them that they were able to build over the years. And so that's what led me here.
It's interesting that you mentioned incidences of how you're able to motivate yourself when you're not in the mood and not resort to substance abuse. Now, we live in an age where everybody is on social media. And these days, we have a certain thing called, I once made reference to a quote you talked about when you said people are social media high. You know,
yes.
They get a certain sense of high. So you're upset, you're having a bad day, you go on Frank Donga's page, you watch all Frank Donga's videos,
yes.
and you laugh,
yes.
and you say, oh, thank you so much for making my
yes.
day. And then one day, Frank Donga isn't on Instagram, or there's no more Instagram. So what happens to you when
you don't have internet?
You're upset? You know, exactly.
Yes.
So how can people learn to motivate themselves through trying circumstances without resorting to addictions or social media?
Okay, so that's where self-regulation comes in, and that's a very valid concern. We live in a time when, you know, you can get attention at the push of a button, you know, and if it's left unchecked, all those likes that we're getting on our profiles, it tends to connect directly with the pleasure centers of our brain, and we begin to resort to social media the way people would resort to things like codeine. You know, so getting away from that, you cannot be dependent on that. So that's where, again, self-awareness and self-regulation comes in. Okay, so I'm feeling down right now. Do I just get on social media, get plugged into the explore section of Instagram, for example, and watch jokes until I feel okay? Is that a sustainable life plan? So when you know that that is not sustainable, you have to look at self-regulation. Can I learn self-regulation? When I'm feeling this way, can I learn not to stay there for long periods at a time? Can I learn to see life differently? The fact that you feel that something doesn't mean that you have no purpose in life. It could mean that, okay, maybe try the next one. So this decision-making process is a skill that can be learned progressively. Sometimes people get impatient with the time it takes to motivate yourself, to encourage yourself, and so they just go for the quick fixes. Social media, you laugh, but the thing that caused that problem is still there. So this, as a science, needs to be studied by anyone who wants to live at the top of their game.
That's brilliant. Now, all of this being said with regards to the factors that constitute as emotional intelligence and etc., let's say somebody takes that journey and says, I am going to do everything I can to become more emotionally intelligent. How does one measure that?
Okay, well, first of all, there's this body of knowledge called NLP, Neuro-Linguistics Programming. I think it's the first step that people can take if they want to get more emotionally intelligent, like really emotionally intelligent. There are lots of places where you can learn about this on the internet, get on YouTube. It basically teaches you how to get in touch with what your drivers are. I mean, different things drive us differently, individually. What are you driven by? Are you driven by attention? Are you driven by your love for money, or what exactly are your drivers? When you're able to understand yourself, self-mastery is the first thing. Now, when you go online, there are many tools that measure emotional intelligence. There are a lot of tools that can give you with specific figures how emotionally intelligent you are, but the most easy tool to use is feedback from people around you. You know, that people will say, everybody thinks that I'm proud, but I'm not a proud person. I'm actually the most humble person that I know. You know, but everyone keeps saying the same thing. Everyone just cannot be wrong and you right. You know, so the easiest tool to find is just feedback from other people. So when Olive says, John, you're too proud, you know, I'm like, okay, does Leila share the same opinion? If she does, maybe I'll think about it. Maybe if it's just Olive, okay, it's just Olive. She's hating right now. You know?
Interesting. Okay, now we're talking about emotions. How important is emotional intelligence in the context of running a business? Now, you have Smart B Camp, where every now and then you have webinars where you teach people how to do business right. So how important is emotions in the context of running a business?
Well, it is really important. Again, as a business, it's a team sport. Again, you're going to have to work with people. And so in order to be able to motivate them to get on board with your ideas and your vision, you have to understand what drives them. And most of the time, we want to just think about the way we want to do things and the direction we want to run and the way we like to see things. But it's also important to find out what drives other people, how they're feeling. And that's why that empathy also comes in. So it's very, very important. Aside that, as a business person, I know many people watching have their businesses on social media. All right? Self-regulation is very important because social media can make people feel like they're having the worst life ever. Right? But hey, it's social media. I'm not going to put on social media at the time that I was emotionally depressed. Of course not. After this show, I'm going to take a selfie of this beautiful studio and put up there. It's for highlights, all right? So you've got to understand that it is what it is. People are going to put the best of themselves out there. But as a business person, you've got people depending on you. And one little thing that goes wrong in your life, you get on social media, everyone's having a great time on social media, and it affects you. There's a slump. It affects your productivity, your creativity, your relationships with people who depend on you. And so it's very, very important. I think that every business leader, first of all, has to study emotional intelligence, not just by reading a book. Study it academically. Maybe take a course on NLP, take a course on the internet, and get in touch with yourself because you are leading people. You're not running on your own. As a business leader, you have to be in charge of your own emotions to begin with.
That's brilliant. Now, you took us through the factors. So let's put the factors aside and focus on the immediate effects that we can see from someone that's emotionally intelligent. Like, let's say I looked at Olive now. What would I see in Olive immediately to know that, yeah, that's an emotionally intelligent woman?
Yes. So the people who are just naturally magnetic. You know, Olive is very naturally magnetic.
Oh, she is.
Thank you.
You know, so there are people who just get people to like them. You know, and other people sit on the sidelines and they're beefing. Like, I've been here for 5 years. No one has noticed me. Olive just came in the other day and everyone loves her. You know, there are these attributes. And instead of hating, maybe you might want to, like, get around them and identify what are the things around them. Is it that Olive does not stay too long in arguments? Is it that she does not always try to prove that she's right and she finds ways to just transition into something happy? You know, there are certain things you can look into people. They're different for different kinds of people. Some people are just more empathetic to other people. Is it that Olive asked me whether I don't show up today? You know, but you just came in and you're thinking about yourself, you know. So there are different attributes, but you have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Look at people who seem to be magnetic and who seem to have things going, and you can ask them questions or just observe them. Brilliant. There are different factors.
All right, so now let's look at practical steps on how we can be better team players, not just as bosses, but as colleagues at work. How can you be a better team player? You've mentioned, you know, putting yourself in other people's shoes. There are times when you go to work and people you're working with are the most annoying set of people. There are many people who are not happy but going to work every day because they go and they're working with people that are attacking their emotions. So how are you able to manage and handle this?
Okay.
Basic tips.
Yes. The first thing is just patience. You know, we live in a microwave world where everything is fast, quick. I want this done now, get it done now. I don't care how you do it. People say that a lot, right? But the first tip to being a more emotionally intelligent manager is in having that patience, all right? Not everyone has had the experiences that you've had to arrive at the knowledge and conclusions that you've arrived at. So that patience, okay, I don't know what this person went through today or what their worldviews are. So that patience to analyze them, observe them, and then come to a bespoke solution for that person's needs. I mean, it's like raising kids. You don't treat kid A the way you would treat kid B. They all have different drivers. They all have different emotional makeups. The same thing with people who work with you and for you. You have to think about what motivates people individually. Someone might have a chronic problem with coming late. Another person might not. You can't say, but this person always comes early. And why is your own always different? You, as a more emotionally intelligent person, there's that empathy. Okay, maybe the person grew up in a culture where Nigerian time was a thing. Okay, so how do I reframe this? How do I give them a more aspirational goal? I was talking with a friend recently, and he was talking about his journey on emotional intelligence. You know, and he had this particular staff who was always underperforming. And when he spoke to her the first time, she was like, she seemed like she could never get to his level. And one day he called her and said, you know, where do you see yourself? Imagine the next 5 years when you're the most valued person in this organization. How would you feel about that? I said, it's impossible. I'm not going to get that. But just assume it was possible. How would you feel about that? It would be good now. I think I would like it. All right. And in the next 2 years, that lady doubled her performance in that organization. Right. But if he wasn't patient to look at her circumstance and how he could motivate her in that situation, I don't think he would have achieved that with her.
So it's understanding people, treating people individually,
yes.
being a little more patient.
It takes a lot of patience,
nicer.
Yes, but that's the way to go.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, John.
Thank
we
you
know that
so
you
much,
do
John.
lectures like this on
Yes.
Facebook with your group, Smart B Camp. How
Yes.
can people be a part of it, and how can people follow you personally?
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram. It's John Obidi. On Twitter, it's John Obidi, but I'm most active on Instagram. Oh, right there. Okay, so I'm most active on Instagram, but you can join my Facebook group. That's where most of the action is taking place. It's called Smart B Camp, Big Business Community. But just search for Smart B Camp, SMART, B for business, and then camp, Smart B Camp.
How many people
on
are in that
Facebook?
group?
About 92,000.
Whoa.
Now.
Wow, brilliant.
Yes.
I'm going to be joining today.
Yes, definitely. So
Glad to have you.
congratulations. Thank you for all that you're doing. And our charge to you today is be kind, a little kinder to someone else. You never know what people are dealing with. Everybody has a smile, but has internal struggles. It will help if you'd be a little kinder. That's the word we're leaving you with as we head over to the news center. When we come back, Frank Dungar is definitely going to be seated where John is sitting. But thank you for joining us, John.
Thanks for having me.
Over to you, Baba K.
Hello, Nigeria. There's no better place to be, so don't you ever change that dial. What's up, everybody? It's Kabam Zasukwa, and you're watching Hello, Nigeria.
Tell lies for the people. Win election for the people. Chop money, leave coins for the people. National cake, leave crumbs for the people. Oil money, suck it down for the people. Go to Harvard, leave strike for the people. Constitution for the people. I love my job throwing chairs for the people. More tax for the people. I ain't doing jack for the people. Wardrobe allowance, dress well for the people. Motivation for the people. Eat well, big tummy for the people. I'm a man of the people. I got mad love for the people. I can't die for the people. I did, Chris.
And for the people. Every day I wear makeup for the people. Okay, I'm not going to try to do my own lame bars, but someone here has done that. His name is Kunle Idowu, popularly known as Frank Dungar, comedian, actor, journalist. In fact, it's time for us to find out which came before which and what he cannot do, because the thing is you do everything.
The chicken or the egg, which one?
Which one came first?
Which one came first?
It's the farmer. That's what they don't know. It's the farmer that came first.
Frank.
Leave story for the people.
So we have with us Frank Donga, our second celebrity guest today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, ladies.
So I think we should actually ask that question. So you've been a journalist, you're a farmer, comedian, actor, okay, I've mentioned comedian earlier, broadcaster.
Well, we just found out that he sings.
Yeah, sings and raps. Of course, he just dropped the new single, which we are going to play before the end of this interview. Question is, what can you not do?
I can't lie you.
I love that. I love that.
So which one started first? Run us through your journey.
Okay, so I went to school, studied agriculture from, well, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Because I bought admission form for Ogun State University, but before we passed out, you know, it changed the name to Olabisi Onabanjo, so it's now OUU. So I have 2 universities for my first degree, Ogun State and Olabisi Onabanjo. But I studied agricultural sciences, majored in animal production, did my master's degree in the University of Ibadan, studied animal genetics. I was going to start my PhD in molecular genetics, but then media called me. So I got my first job in Lagos. I just saw this job advert online because I was a computer internet freak, always crawling all over the place.
Is that the media calling you there?
Nice one, nice one. I picked the call. So, you know, I saw this job opportunity that said we're starting a new Pan-African media platform. In 300 words or less, tell us why we should hire you. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. You know, 300 words. Typed and they like called me for the interview. Like, woo! I wasn't expecting that. I was living in Ibadan. That's why I'm from. That's where my parents are. So I came to Lagos, did the first interview, passed through the second stage, and like eventually got the job in a CNN affiliate news station. And that was how I started my journey. We were trained by the former vice president of CNN and a whole bunch of experts. And then I did tons of hours of tutorials online to add to my skill and practicing how to use the camera, editing, special effects. I love animation. I watch loads of cartoons. I'm an illustrator. Yeah, that's that. But before then in school, you know, I learned how to play the guitar, the lead guitar, the bass guitar, and the keyboard. And I used to write songs.
You are too proud.
Speak about being multifaceted.
Too proud. I didn't make this show. What kind of thing is this? Why are you trying to intimidate?
Now you go ask question, huh?
You are a Babalawo too, I'm sure.
No. You know what? But really, I was just, I was at that stage of my life, I just wanted to explore as many things as I could because I knew. I kept remembering these words my father used to tell me. Each time I'm with the piano, Small Woods piano tutor, or bam, 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 bam. My father would look at me and say, wow. I remember when I was younger, like you, I wanted to learn how to play the piano. I said, so what happened? I just never did. And I could see the regret in his eyes. And I told myself, never, never. If I want to go to the moon, I will collect visa. I'll run to America and say, hey, put me in national school. That period of your life, you want to learn as much skills as you can. And I think that's what I did.
And out of all the skills that you have learned, that you now have today, what would you say you're most passionate about?
People. I love to see people smile. I love to see people happy. That drove me to all the things I do. I wanted to produce food. I'd been a farmer in agriculture. I wanted to produce food to make people eat well. I didn't just want to become a farmer. It takes a lot for you to see you have opportunities to study engineering, architecture, medicine, and say, I want to be a farmer. Something must be really cuckoo in your head. My friends thought I was, losing my marbles. So like, I want to be a farmer because I could see. I loved agriculture. I wanted to produce food to feed people. Then I realized that, I did certain things certain ways, and my classmates, my friends and family, neighbors would laugh easily. I'm like, oh my God, it's so funny. Even when I don't see the funny in it, I'm like, okay. So I think my passion for people drives me to do all the things I do. It keeps me doing what I do right now, doing skits online, doing movies, releasing. I love to entertain people.
Okay, now you also played farmer. You had the opportunity to be yourself, to be a farmer. In the movie you played last year, Hakunde, an award-winning one. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's talk about your journey into movies. Was it a mistake? Did you escort someone to go and do audition and stumble into it?
Did Nollywood call you?
Nollywood called me.
They called.
I know it sounds weird now. You say, why are you feeling pompous? No,
pompous.
Please do. I'm not so. Please help me. But the thing is this. So I started off, I was working with an online TV platform and with a few friends of mine, Mohammed Atta, Femi Bangbeton, and we, accidentally, I would say things. These are guys who were way back. We first met when I worked at a news channel I talked about. And then we found ourselves working together in another company, and I would say stuff, and the boys would be on the floor rolling, literally holding their sides and rolling. I'm like, what's so funny? The way you said it. Look at your face. I'm like, I don't get. But then one day I said, we should record some of these things and, put it online and see how it goes. And, yeah, we should. We never did. Until that faithful day, I happened to be wearing that shirt and that tie, you know. And I said a few things, boys were on the floor and like, what's so funny? Okay, get the camera, get the mic, get the sound, get the lights. I should call this thing. Almost accidentally.
Wow.
So do you record and edit all your videos?
Yeah, for the most part. For the most
including
part.
the ones where you had the pilot, Donga? Yeah. Wow, brilliant.
Thank you.
Wow, wow.
I have a team of people that I take pieces of advice from, a team of people that I need help from. For example, that pilot one, for instance, I struggled for a long time trying to get the right background picture. So there's no magic to what I do. It's simple compositing, green screen with a background image. That background image I searched online endlessly, I couldn't find. Until one day I was coming from, I think, Port Harcourt to Lagos, and I met a pilot who recognized me in the airplane and said, is that not Frank Donga? Bring him to the business class. And from the economy class, we had a chat, and I told him, oh, wow, I need this kind of picture. And he said, yeah, take the picture right now. And I didn't like it. He said, I'll take it and send it to you. And he sent it to me, and that happens to be. So shout out to pilot Tijan, you know, wherever you are. Those up. So yeah, so simple.
Brilliant.
If you put your heart to it, and you meet the right people.
Interesting.
Now, freedom of speech and freedom of expression obviously are a fundamental human rights, but a lot of people are scared in Nigeria when it comes to liberating themselves through speech and expression because of the responses they may get. Have you had any negative responses, and I'm speaking of responses from our polity, towards your skits that you put out there when you're speaking the truth?
Not yet. That's the simple answer. To go in depth, I think comics or comedians have a special privilege or opportunity to say sensitive things in funny ways and get away with it easier than other people or other artists can. If you think about it, because your song is jammed over and over and over again, and because it's slightly different, people might find it offensive. But if you're a comic and you put out a skit, like I did with my interview series, I was really hammering at some issues. You know, even though there's a high chance you might lose the message in the multitude of the humor and the laughter, I haven't really faced any backlash yet, and I hope I don't, because I have a think tank that I bounce ideas off. Do you find this offensive? No, I don't. Okay, fine, majority, I go ahead. And sometimes I just go with my gut feelings. But I think being a comic, it gives me the opportunity to douse tension when the humor is solid. Even the people that will come for you would have laughed and like, this guy is just a useless man, you know. See what he did. Now you the abusive. But then later you're like, message there. But you put it out in such a subtle way that they kind of accept you. So
now switching into comedy full time, did you at any point nurse any fears? Now the people who initially thought comedy would not be as thriving a business as it is now, and people who were afraid of being taken for granted or taken on serious. Did you face such segregations from family members, or were you afraid at any point?
Yeah, so the thing is, first of all, I didn't come into comedy because I wanted to come into comedy. I just discovered I was doing stuff and people found it funny. We're like, okay, I love to see you smile. I love to see you happy. I love to see you, laugh. I don't know why exactly you're laughing, but look, I'm just being me. And if that makes you happy, hey, let's do it, whatever. So that, at the back of my mind, is my driving force, not necessarily rewards or comments or commendations from people. So that kept me on, because I'm not really looking for it. I'm just doing my thing. I'm just expressing myself. The internet or social media gave me a free and easy platform, outside of traditional media, TV, radio, print, to, because even on Twitter, I do humor with text. So that gave me the opportunity to be able to put myself out there. But talking about, what was that second part you asked again about?
Family members, did you feel any of them take you on serious at some point?
No, because from my background, being a scientist, having done my master's degree, and having vast array of opportunities ahead of me, people didn't really see that way early, because I was also a filmmaker. But of course, every now and then, I run into people who just never take me seriously. It's a bit of a low moment, no matter what. Even if I'm hungry, and say, let me just find anything you can. That funny. My God, look at his face. He's so funny. I'm starving. Give me food. But, yes, sometimes people do take me on seriously. It's painful, but that's the job, as long as they're happy.
Okay, we have a video. You recently dropped a single,
Yep.
Shaking Tables.
Yeah.
One of the tables, you've shaked several of, you've shaken, what's the correct one, shaked?
Shuku.
Okay, we also have information that you attended the royal wedding. So let's take a look at the clip of Frank Donga at the royal wedding. When we come back, we'll be speaking some more to him and also looking at his latest single.
Dr. King was right.
Yeah, it was.
We must discover love. The redemptive power of love.
What?
When we do that,
Tell them.
we will make of this old world a new world.
Amen. Wakanda forever.
My brother.
Yeah, shout out to my main man, Prince Harry.
How was the wedding?
That was tight, man. It was tight, man. You all saw it. You all saw it online. Like, whoo! Wasn't easy. Like,
Wow.
I was going up and down all over the internet. I trekked all over the internet. I was monitoring things, and things were monitoring me. The next question.
Frank, this is your pink outfit, the one that we saw in the real wedding video. You always carry on the persona of an unemployed youth, maybe the lazy Nigerian youth. What inspired you to start your comedy with a signature outfit?
So I wanted to express the challenges of one too many people I had run into that I knew as friends, family, colleagues, every now and then run into them who spent a lot of time and effort going to school, only to come out and discover that the educational system had really failed them. They weren't really equipped to fit into the job market, not really because of their fault, sometimes because of the background, home, or because of financial status, or because of their, exposure, and realized that there weren't too many jobs out there, one, and a lot of people, and also discovered, didn't get the jobs they would have gotten because they had low self-esteem at the point of job interviews, then they didn't do their homework. So all these issues were things I wanted to address. The struggling Nigerian youth who is a victim of a failed educational system and who also has a few faults of his own by not preparing himself well for opportunities. Those were the things I wanted to bring attention to.
So basically talking about the fact that we have employability problems and unemployment problems as well. Very interesting. Thank you for the fantastic work that you do with regards to that. Now, Frank recently dropped a single, Shaking of Tables. I don't know where that slang originated from on social media, but if you find the origin, please do well to let us know how it came about. But for now, let's take a look at Frank's latest music release.
Uncle, I know some people, every day they like to bubble. Landlord, they know they settle. Every night, green bottle. Stiff meat, 3,000. Goat meat, 5,000. Fresh fish, 7,000. Salary, 20,000. What? This day we are shaking. This day we are shaking. Oh my God. We are shaking. Black people on top. This day we are shaking. This day we are shaking. This day we are shaking. People will fall down.
How can people get to download the song?
So it's on SoundCloud. Just go to my page @FrankDonga_ on Instagram. Same on Twitter @FrankDonga_. Go to my bio. The link is right there. Free download from SoundCloud.
What's the song about?
The phrase, this table you are shaking. Every now and then I'll go to social media, especially Twitter or Instagram. Somebody makes a statement like, I wonder why people would just say, bros, this table you are shaking has a lot of, I'm like, wow, this phrase, people use it very often. I was like, important. So I wanted to do a social commentary about things in the society, addressing different issues from politics to, personal finance, living within your means, being a slave queen and living all those other things. So I had to, do a call, response, refrain thing, structure it in such a way that, you can also groove to it.
And what has the response been like so far?
Crazy, amazing. I'm surprised people actually, first of all, the groove is tight. People love the groove.
I agree. It's a jam.
I mean,
it's a jam for days. I can't even lie.
So like I told you, I have a big music background, so I was particular about the sound. And then I write songs, so I'm like, okay, write it in a way that people get the message, but they can also like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling that groove, but he's talking to me like, he's shaking my table, what?
We're definitely playing this video for you tomorrow. So make it a date with us same time tomorrow, and we'll be bringing you the video of Frank Donga shaking tables. And before the show wraps up, I'm going to put him on the spot and ask him to shake a table on this show right now. But we're wrapping up the show, and we have to look at what's happening today in history. Today we have several celebrations, but I'd like to celebrate two very important people. Happy birthday to Chisom Nwobodo. Chisom Nwobodo is someone that is a friend and a mentee, and I want to wish you a happy new year and say that I believe so much in you, your talent, and that your dreams are indeed valid. Now, we often tell you that you can also send shout out to your loved ones on our show. All you need to do is send a picture and a message a day before the show, and we have one. Now, happy birthday to Ogali. This is a special message from Budamti, and the message goes thus. Celebrating this extremely kind, absolutely wonderful gentleman who is a considerate son, a great leader, a GQ boss, a strong lover of starch and banga, and an all-round amazing human being as he turns a year older today. Happy birthday, Ogale, from
Happy
Bodam
birthday.
T and from Leila and I. We wish you an amazing New Year, Ogale. I kind of know Ogale personally. Let me not even pretend like I don't know. Ogale is a fantastic person, and happy birthday. We wish you a very good year.
Honestly.
We wish you all a very good year ahead. Happy birthday to all those wonderful people. I don't farm them that too.
No, it's very important.
Very important.
And Frank, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. We had so much fun, and I'm sure you did as well. Don't forget, the show continues tomorrow, 12 p.m. the same time right here on Wazobia Max TV. As for now, you can follow Olive online on social media at OliveMOD, or you can follow me at LJS Online. Don't forget to follow us collectively at Wazobia Max. But for now, we are signing out. See you tomorrow. God bless.